journey to eastern Canada to explore Halifax and Montreal. Could these cities have been built upon the ruins of a lost civilization, perhaps remnants of the Tartarian Empire here in North America? Hidden in plain sight are fragments of an old world, intricate stonework from an unknown era, tunnels and chambers buried deep beneath city streets, and forgotten technologies that hint at something more advanced than our textbooks dare to imagine. Over the decades, stories of underground passageways have proven to be more than mere folklore. We'll explore photographic evidence of a possible transatlantic tunnel that may have once served as a pneumatic railway linking North America to Great Britain. And then there were the great disasters that helped shape the history of Canada. The Montreal Fire of 1852 and the Halifax Explosion of 1917. The official narrative tells us that these were nothing more than tragic accidents. However, we will explore the possibility that these calamities may not have been random events, but deliberate acts of destruction, designed to erase a forbidden past. As we peel back layers of rubble and revisionism, we'll uncover strange tunnels, forgotten folklore, and archaeological anomalies that challenge everything we think we know about Halifax and Montreal. Welcome to Old World Canada. Halifax, Nova Scotia, founded by the British in 1749. By 1841, this small city of just 15,000 had become the capital of Atlantic Canada. But when we look at the architecture of old Halifax, something doesn't add up. How could such a small settlement have built such monumental structures, and why? But beneath the streets of Halifax lies an even greater mystery, one that has haunted this city for generations. Legends and folklore regarding secret underground tunnels. Passageways running from Citadel Hill to the waterfront and beyond. Some claim they've existed for centuries, long before the British ever arrived. Others believe they were once part of something far more extraordinary, an underground pneumatic railway. One of these tunnels may have stretched all the way across the Atlantic Ocean itself. A transatlantic tunnel may sound impossible, but consider this. In the early 1800s, around the same time that Halifax was being populated, engineers in London were constructing, or possibly reconstructing, underground tunnels beneath the River Thames. As official historians will tell you, by 1841, they had constructed a tunnel beneath the river. So whether you believe official historians or not, one fact remains certain. A tunnel from Citadel Hill to George's Island wasn't just fantasy, it was a realistic possibility. Over the decades, pieces of Halifax's underground would begin to surface, providing evidence that this was not just folklore, but proven fact. In 1958, workers uncovered a passage beneath Brunswick Street. In 1978, another under Bedford Row. Then again in 1995, a man-sized tunnel running from the Citadel towards the waterfront. And in 2017, yet another. This was more than just a sewer system of unknown origin, but perhaps the remnants of a pneumatic underground railway system. Perhaps the strangest discovery came in 1976 under Prince Street. Nova Scotia power workers broke through a stone slab and found a hidden passageway leading into a larger chamber. Could this old tunnel system beneath Halifax be evidence of an advanced civilization with advanced technologies which have long been buried and forgotten? Perhaps evidence of the Tartarian Empire here in North America, long before the British colonists reclaimed the city. Comment below. Around the turn of the century, natural disasters, great fires, and other catastrophic events reshaped North America. Events like the San Francisco earthquake of 1906, the Great Fire of Toronto in 1904, and the Great Chicago Fire of 1871 are responsible for pulverizing stone and eradicating the past. Halifax is not exempt from catastrophic disasters, having experienced the devastating Halifax Explosion of 1917. December 6, 1917, two ships collide in Halifax Harbor, the Norwegian IMO and the French cargo ship Mont Blanc. It seems like a tragic accident until you learn what the Mont Blanc was carrying. Over 2,000 tons of picric acid, 200 tons of TNT, 35 tons of high-octane gasoline, 10 tons of gun cotton, a floating bomb. The fire started small. Spectators gathered on the shore, watching flames lick at the ship's hull. Then, 20 minutes later, at 9:04 a.m., Halifax vanished. This was the largest man-made explosion before Hiroshima. The blast leveled 325 acres of the city. Windows shattered 50 miles away. A column of smoke rose 2 miles into the sky. 2,000 people were dead. Many of Halifax's oldest buildings, ornate stone structures, remnants of another architectural era, were obliterated, reduced to dust. Was this disaster a tragic accident or an intentional plan to delete the past? Regardless of the nature of this event, one thing is for certain: this explosion didn't just destroy a city, it erased a chapter of history. Every city is built on its past, but in Montreal, that past seems to go deeper than most would expect. Officially, Montreal's story begins in 1642, when French settlers established a small wooden mission on the island's southern shore. And yet, some of the earliest known photographs of Montreal, as well as illustrations and paintings, depict classical architecture on a grand scale. Architecture that looked hundreds of years old and impossibly advanced at the time these photos were taken. And beneath these structures, fragments of stonework that seem far older, consisting of limestone that doesn't even match local quarries. Historians dismiss it all as coincidence. Reused stone, renovations, layers built over time. But beneath the layers, there is evidence of underground tunnels, rivers, and perhaps an entire city. Even indigenous oral traditions speak of stone caves that breathe near the island's edge, natural channels that connect to underground rivers. Some say these tunnels were simple drainage shafts. Others believe they're far older remnants of an unknown civilization that settled here long before the French, perhaps drawn to the St. Lawrence. Quite possibly underground passageways to lands unknown. As with many major cities across North America at this time, Montreal had its share of natural disasters and catastrophic events. July 8th, 1852, the Great Fire of Montreal. What started off as a single spark ignited a catastrophe. Within hours, 1,000 buildings burn, nearly 10,000 people are left homeless. But what the fire consumed wasn't just wood and brick, it was history. Almost all of Montreal's earliest records vanished that night. Maps of the original fortifications, plans of underground passages, even the first surveys of the port, gone forever. When the smoke cleared, workers found strange ruins beneath the ashes, stone vaults made from a different kind of limestone than any used in the 1800s. Over time, these were sealed up, built over, and forgotten again. The Great Fire consumed more than old buildings. It consumed evidence of the old world. Floods in 1886 swallowed parts of the old port, and survivors spoke of walls and passageways briefly exposed before vanishing under reconstruction. Did Montreal rise from the ground as we're told? Or was it built upon remnants of a city long forgotten? What do you think? Comment below. More content featuring Old World Tartarian Canada, be sure to check out my videos, Buildings of Unknown Origin, Volume 5, where I take a deep dive into the magnificent Old World architecture of Ottawa, Canada, including the mysterious fire of 1916. And also, Buildings of Unknown Origin, Volume 7, where we examine Old World Toronto and the Great Fire of 1904. Links to both videos are in the description, and if you'd like to further support this channel, consider becoming a member and join the Knights of the Inner Circle. There are many great perks such as exclusive content, early access to new videos, your name in the end credits, and more for only $2.99 per month. As always, thank you for the support and fuck the official narrative.